Ladies and gentlemen, Kanye West is back on Twitter. Trump will be back on very soon. Marjorie Taylor Greene, everyone, Democrats and media and wonderful morally superior liberals despise will be back on. Now, did Kanye West's statements offend me? Yes, they did. Do I want him back on Twitter? Yes. How can anyone have those two opposing vantage points? I will tell you in a couple of minutes. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Share this segment everywhere. It's very important. A lot of I have the best viewers in all of YouTube. I genuinely, truly believe that the viewership on this channel is amazing. It's actually obviously mostly conservative or supporters of Trump, like myself, but there's people who were here since the Bernie Sanders days, since I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. This is also a guilty pleasure of a great many progressives watching this channel who probably don't tell people that they watch H.A. Goodman, but there's a lot of people on this. My viewership is very diverse, the definition of diverse. And so I thank God for everyone that watches this channel. I don't think, though, however, that people truly appreciate Trump or even Kanye West or Marjorie Taylor Greene or any conservative pundit being reinstated on Twitter. I don't think my viewership, or I don't think people in general, maybe in all of YouTube, I don't think people in general understand what a nightmare this is for the Democratic Party and what a good thing this is for the country. Free speech, the ability to communicate thoughts, even if they are offensive, is very important for a democracy, a republic, a civilization. It is very important to hear things you don't like. Now, morally superior liberal Democrats find this to be blasphemy. They cannot live in a world where opposing viewpoints are contrary to their own, and they have to actually debate through dialogue, discourse, discussion, a thoughtful, reasoned argument. They don't like to actually form rebuttals. They'll point to a fact check, they'll appeal to authority, and mainly they'll get Twitter to ban and suspend opposing views that they find reprehensible. But if you find a viewpoint reprehensible, like for example, I don't despise or I don't have contempt for Kanye West. I think that his view, what he stated about people of my religion, um, what he's doing is painting a whole bunch of people with the same brush and not focusing on specific individuals that he claims did him harm. I'm not I am a Jewish American. Guess what? There are other people of my faith who have written hit pieces against me. Am I going to blame people of my faith when a person of my background writes a hit piece against me? No. So it's not a matter of I can't blame nobody can blame an entire group for the sins of one individual or a group of individuals. Okay, you can't do that's just basic logic and reason. But see, again, you can defeat or you can oppose or you can explain thoughtfully why Kanye West was wrong without banning him or suspending him. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I have a segment on Trump being reinstated prior to this one. Watch that segment. We are heading towards a complete paradigm shift, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and if you want to support my work, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and description. We are in a huge paradigm shift. Since 2016, Trump and Republicans have been on the defensive. They cheated Bernie Sanders. They claimed to care about climate change, and then they released 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. They're supposed to be liberal or progressive, but they can't even write a letter opposing never-ending conflict in Europe. And now we have a nuclear confrontation that I've been telling people about for the past year. Okay, everything under Biden's administration is terrible. Crime, you even have one of the $20 million venture capitalist funded progressives complaining about a Democratic run city, and he votes Democrat. He votes blue no matter who. Well, I mean, this is your doing. If you vote Democrat, don't complain about crime and poverty and homelessness. Poverty is up. When there are imbeciles out there who claim that Trump abandoned the working class. No, the working class was never happier than under Trump. Record low unemployment, 2% inflation, but also record highs in household median income. Real wages were up 1.1%. Real wages are down 8.5% now, and the economy, the GDP only went up because of arms sales and oil and strategic petroleum reserves, 200 million barrels, and we sold that to other countries as well. So they had Twitter to silence debate. Now I've read articles in The Verge and I've read articles in the New Republic. I know it's going to be so bad. The content moderators on Twitter were political in nature. What they did was try to silence. They didn't care about Twitter, run by morally superior liberal or progressives. They don't care about if people are safe. I haven't been on Twitter because I stopped. I deleted my Twitter account in late 2018, and I received a threat on my life. Went to the police department. They said, "Oh yeah, by the way, the police officer said embrace the Second Amendment." Essentially, so I did. So I did. Okay, now I have firearms to protect myself and my family. If God forbid, somebody tried to do me harm. That's why you should protect yourself. If you have a Second Amendment in this country to protect yourself. So God forbid something terrible took place with the Speaker of the House. Okay, had her husband owned a firearm, maybe he wouldn't have been in the situation he was in. I don't know. I don't know much about that. I'm not going to even discuss that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably right. But the point is, you need to protect yourself, especially in this day and age, utilizing the Second Amendment, which Democrats want to erase. The true authoritarians want to erase the First and Second Amendment. Then they say, oh, they're banning books. Yeah, but you're talking about school boards where parents don't like the literature or the profane literature, if you want to call it that, according to those parents that their children are reading. Very different from suspending or banning Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene or any expert that disagrees with a consensus. Okay, if you take refuge with Christopher Hitchens, I was just listening to him today. Christopher Hitchens would have been banned from Twitter. Think about that for a second. Okay, everyone that you like for the past 50, 60 years, Sam Kinison would have been banned. Okay, I mean, you look. I mean, think of anybody amazing. Okay, Blazing Saddles would have been banned. Like you couldn't. Mel Brooks when he was starting off. Don Rickles would have been banned. I mean, you talk about comedians. You talk about intellectuals like Christopher Hitchens. There is a very certain type of liberal sensibility in 2022, from 2016 to 2022, that says, "Oh my God." We have to protect this country from Trump's words, but we don't actually. The country will be protected and democracy will flourish with Trump's words, with the words of people you don't like. That's what's called free speech. And if you claim that these words are harmful, then there's a legal action. When they say, well, there's no there's always repercussions for words. Yeah, it's called legal action. If somebody engages in libel or something defamatory, you sue them. It's not difficult. We lived prior to Twitter's content moderation, and we'll continue to live just fine. Then they say, "Oh, the advertisers aren't going to leave." What happens with advertisers is you have Media Matters and other left-leaning political groups claiming to speak for communities of all different backgrounds and yelling at the top of their lungs, "Oh, this person said this, and how dare these advertisers go." So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The same people who want to silence free speech are the same people who will say, "Oh, well, advertisers will leave." But then they ignore the fact that there's a public relations monstrosity on the left that tries to intimidate and bully advertisers. Okay, these advertisers are going to be just fine, even with the attempted bullying and boycotting. Okay, companies will make economic decisions, and Twitter is already a bastion for discontent and frustration, even with the content moderators, because the left is allowed to get away with everything. Now you're going to have the pendulum at least swing to the middle. Okay, the pendulum was on the left already. So you banned Trump because you said that his words caused January, but that was never proven in a court of law. You banned all of these people for being outside of a consensus when we find out that, oh, by the way, the consensus was wrong here, it was wrong there. You never banned a BuzzFeed for the Steele dossier, which was completely full of lies and fake false reporting, but you then banned the New York Post. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very, very important. Very important. And share this segment everywhere. It's so important. Nobody understands. But we're going to have a huge live stream November 8th. You will see why it's important after November 8th to have Trump back on Twitter, Kanye, even though I disagree with what Kanye said vehemently. It's going to be very important. Okay. And you defeat ideas with other ideas. And if your ideas don't win out, you haven't done a good enough job. And that's on you. That's not on the people. And by the way, if there's like all this, horrible things being said, you can block the person or mute them. It's not difficult. I don't have Twitter, but it's like these people are so frightened of being offended. It's like, well, you offend the left, you offend the right or conservatives all the time. So you don't have a license to offend and not be offended. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. It is huge, ladies and gentlemen, a huge sea change in American politics. Hit subscribe. And we have the House and Senate victories within a matter of days, people. Share this everywhere. Thank you.